One of the fastest things in racing isn't actually the cars. It's how fast people start pointing fingers when something goes wrong. I went to this race one time at COTA, and my car is super particular about how much oil goes in. And so we measure and manage and watch exactly how much oil gets used throughout the runs. And there was this discrepancy on who had last filled the oil because the oil was not where it was supposed to be on our measuring stick. And it was just complete chaos. I mean, you were there. It was just...
Yeah, everybody was just at each other's throats and pointing fingers. Nobody was taking any responsibility.
Yeah.
It was madness.
Yeah, and therein started the blame game. I don't know if you have ever been a part of a racing team or not, but I am pretty sure that you have an idea of what the blame game is. I mean, everybody just feels so uncomfortable. They feel so embarrassed. Like when I watched this happen, like people are not introspective and they become a lot more about self, and it's complete chaos.
Yeah. Sorry about my hair. I just got back from work.
I told him to not share this. Anyways, I am all about accountability. I think accountability is so important, but accountability is not the same as blame. The problem is blame doesn't solve problems, it creates problems.
It just causes people to go into a place of fear and defensiveness, just shutting them down.
People become way more focused on self and about everything that's going wrong in their life and not about other people around them. It makes teams not team focused.
Yeah, blame just protects yourself, but unity fixes problems.
Imagine if the situation went 100% differently. I'm going to take you back to the oil example. Imagine if instead of everybody just kept pointing fingers and saying, it was them, they did it, not me, I don't know who did it. What if somebody stood up and took the responsibility, even if they weren't the ones who created the issue? Or even better, what if nobody had to be at fault? What if there was nobody to blame and the team just collected together as a whole and worked on the problem itself? The truth is, the blame game didn't just start in racing. It has been going in humanity in general. I mean, we talk about kings and queens, and they would have a fall guy. They would have literally people stoning other people just so that they weren't at fault.
I mean, you got corporations today always looking for who to blame, who to cast the problems onto, governments too. But I mean, it goes all the way back to the beginning with Adam and Eve on the original sin. Who's responsible for the apple?
The truth is, us as humans are so good at finding somebody else to blame. Has something ever happened to you when you knew you were at fault and somebody stepped in and took the fall for you? Or maybe you didn't even know who was at fault and somebody just stepped up and took the blame anyways. How did that make you feel? I remember when I was a really little girl, we lived on basically farm ground, and my aunt and uncle had farming land around us, and we had irrigation ditches there, and it was the funnest thing as a kid to literally slide down these ditches because they would get, like, we called it skunk mud. They would get skunk mud, just the slimy ick all over these sections, and it would create kind of like a slide effect. And so I remember just going down and sliding all these, and I had a friend over, and so we went out and we were just hanging out in the ditches and having a blast. And I remember my aunt saw us and she was like, you know, you guys, like, she was obviously unhappy, like, you guys shouldn't be doing that. And I remember I just took off running to the house, and by the time I got back to the house, my mom was on the phone with my aunt. And I was so nervous. My chest was like so tight. Like, it was one of those complete panic moments. My face was like beet red. And my mom literally just took the blame for me. She's like, oh yeah, the kids were just antsy. I had them go out there. I told them it was fine. I'll tell them that it's not okay to do in the future or whatever, but that was all my fault. And I remember just being so utterly humbled by that, by my mom taking that blame for me. It wasn't something that I felt like, ooh, I should do this again. Like, let's see how far I can take this. It was like I was so embarrassed and at a place where I felt incapable to handle the trial that I deserved, that when my mom took my place, it was just this weight lifted off my chest that I didn't even feel like I deserved.
It's a lot like Jesus' story too. We as humans just made choices that cut us off from God. We were guilty. We had no hope, but Jesus said, take me instead. He took on the guilt. He took on the responsibility and the sacrifice to make it right. He took on the blame so that we could receive grace.
This is a lot like my story with my mom. It doesn't make me feel like I got away with anything or like I should keep trying to do this certain sin because somebody else takes the fall. It makes me feel humbled, and it makes me actually feel more responsible to take care of this situation in the future so it doesn't happen again. Racing has shown me the blame game so many times, but faith has shown me something completely different. What if we took responsibility faster? What if we defended people instead of accusing them? What if we gave them the benefit of the doubt? What if we prioritized unity over self? Blame divides people, but love absorbs the cost.
Jesus didn't die for us because we were innocent. He died for us because he loved us that much. And that kind of love changes every outcome.
If this message hit you a little different today, please drop a comment, like, share. I'm not loud online, but your engagement really does help share it to those that might need a message like this.